So I'm back with another video game review. I've been in a handheld kind of mood for a while now, and I picked this up at a thrift store for $4. Super Pac Man by Namco. So this is an official release. You may have seen these in the toy stores, Walmart, wherever you buy fine games. And it's made by plug-and-play TV games. Unfortunately, this one came without a battery cover, but what can you expect for a couple bucks? Now, these are one of the systems that plug into your TV via audio-video cables. So if your high-def TV at home doesn't have these plugs, I'm not sure you can use these unless you run an intermediate VCR DVD recorder combo or something. Run these into the inputs and then your HDMI out from that device to your television. But most high-def TVs still have AV jacks on the side. They might be component, but sometimes they'd also double as composite. This is a composite style of input. So check your television. You might still be able to use one of these things. Now, I've never played... I do recall when Super Pac Man came out into the arcades, and I recall not liking it. So hopefully this is more than just Super Pac Man. I would guess that there are a couple different variations of Pac Man on this. Of course, it's advertising Super Pac Man, but maybe the original Pac Man is on this. And that would be a good score, because these are known for their faithful adaptations of Pac Man, these handheld devices. So let's get this plugged into my TV here. I'll get the camera set up for a demonstration of it. And maybe you can see here I do have some AV jacks here on the side. Yellow to yellow. Yellow is the video, and white is your audio. So I'll turn my television on here, and I already have it set for the audio-video inputs on the side. No, okay, AV, and we'll turn this on. Power switch here in the front, and it lights up, and this is the reset button. Jack specific. Now that is awfully cheesy looking. Okay, so we do have 4 games. The original Pac Man, like I was hoping. Super Pac Man. Pac and Pal, have no idea. Pac Man Plus, have no idea. I wonder if these were ever released in the arcade. Of course, Pac Man was. And Super Pac Man was. Got a nice little sound here as you move the icons around. Joystick feels pretty decent, actually. Let's play Pac Man. It has the original Pac Man start screen. 1980 Namco, so it looks to be ported directly off the old code. Whoops. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a problem with this television. It's not on the correct aspect ratio. This is in a zoom format, so I'm missing the whole bottom of the screen here. Pac-Man's gone. So we have to adjust. We have to adjust the settings here. Don't need sound. Normal. There we go. I've got my whole display going here. One of the small problems with 4:3 video put onto a 16:9 screen. Alright, let's start over. Sounds like Pac-Man. There we go. Now I can hear it. Plays like Pac Man. This is by far the best port or adaptation I've seen of Pac-Man. I've been on a Pac-Man kick lately. I showed you guys my Coleco tabletop version from '81, and the Game Boy Color-like device I got off an auction site that had Pac-Man on it. Both nowhere near faithful reproductions. This is. So this is cool. I got this for $4 at a thrift store. Alright, come on all you guys, follow me. Let's go find you guys a power pellet. Come on. I dumped so much money into this game when I was a kid. And what would be interesting is finding that old map of the levels, the guaranteed win map they used to have. I don't remember it. Man, that was like 35 years ago. But I'm still competent enough to play a game and not die immediately. So, this is sizing up to be a pretty good little experience for $4. I can see myself playing this a whole lot. Yeah, no, I'm not going for the ghosts. Ah, I'm dead. So much for that. Okay, let's check out the other games on this. Reset. Quit. Are you sure? Well, yes, I am. Okay. Super Pac Man. Gonna dread this. I never liked this game. This nonsense with keys and locked hallways and 2 power pellets, and he gets big and goes through walls. I hate this game. But it must demonstrate everything on this. See, look at this. Oh. This just makes no sense. I believe I played this exactly one time in the arcade. Alright, up. And said never again, went back to the original Pac-Man. And I can see why. This does not react fluidly like the original Pac-Man does. Something in the code is not sampling the position of the joystick the same way that Pac-Man does. Because in Pac-Man, you can, as fast as you can think and move, you can get Pac-Man to follow your input. That one was very sluggish. Quit. Yes, I am very sure we're quitting that game. Alright. Pac and Pal. I have no idea. Apparently this is Pal. 1983. So this one came out very late in the arcade game era. And I have no idea how to play this. Let's just see. And it looks again like very Super Pac Man like. There's keys. Oh, okay. Turn over the card, find. Why is the Galaxian mothership in this? I don't get it. Okay, turn over the card. And then eat what the card turns over. Alrighty then. Why did the ghost just freeze? This is weird. I'm gonna die here any second. Oh, I go right through the PAL. The PAL means nothing, apparently. What is going on with this game? Why did it freeze? This game is utterly ridiculous. Why am I blue now? I can still be killed. Oh, did they ever damage the Pac-Man franchise with this entry? Apparently I cleared the level. I'm going to have to go online and figure out if this was ever actually in the arcade. Game over, thankfully. Let's quit. Yes, I'm sure. That was just weird. Okay, Pac Man Plus. Again, have no clue. Never heard of it. Let's see what it is. Well, it's promising. It starts sort of the same way the original Pac-Man game does. But now he's Shadow, Speedy, Bashful, and Pokey instead of Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. And they've got little apple hats on? I don't know. What? Oh, okay. This is a Pac-Man-like game. This is the first board to the original Pac-Man. And the ghosts just acted the exact same way that they would on the original game. Why is there a can of Coke here? Interesting. This almost has like a Chinese knockoff kind of color. Instead of the blue Pac-Man board, it's green, and they just turned into like moving apple ghosts or something, but strange. But it's still very much like Pac-Man. It's like a fast, modded version of Pac-Man, actually. They're moving right along. And apparently you don't get all the ghosts when you hit the power pellet. Oh, and I missed the can of Coke. So, first impressions of this game are that it's very much like Pac-Man. So that's a good thing compared to the other two pieces of crap games that were on this. So I have two good Pac-Man games, one Pac-Man and one Pac-Man-like game, I guess you'd say. Okay, turn. Yep. So use the same code programming as the original Pac-Man when that ghost goes up here and turns. Alright, one more time. I'm trying to pay more attention on what this game is doing than actually playing it. I'm checking the ghost's eyes, make sure they react like the original Pac-Man they appear to. I'm going to play this one again. The ghost's eyes will always look where they're going to turn. So you can kind of plan your gameplay based on where the ghost's eyes are. I'm going to die. Yep. There are so many little built-in nuances of Pac-Man that most people never really knew about and never took advantage of. Yeah. Again, paying attention to the ghost over here and got killed. So this game itself, Pac-Man Plus, warrants some further gameplay. Oh, they turn back very fast. So I would say this version of Pac-Man, you could probably compare it to the upper levels of the original Pac-Man. This has the same kind of coding. The characters act the same way. The joystick and the reaction of the sampling of the joystick positions reacts the same way to the original Pac-Man. There's just some plus added to it, some other little elements dropped into it. And this says copyright 1982, so this is fairly early in the Pac-Man era. In fact, this might be one of the first reiterations of Pac-Man beyond the original game, and Miss Pac-Man, which was the first. So I actually picked up in the same thrift store some other handheld games like this. I'm going to go bust them out and show you what they are and play a little bit of those too. One of them is also Pac Man themed, so I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with the other Pac Man themed handheld game I picked up at the thrift store, and you can probably tell by this one it's Mrs. Pac Man. Namco again, so this is an officially licensed product, and this is probably also produced by that Jakks Pacific company. Yep, 2004, Jakks Pacific Inc., Malibu, California. So, first impressions, it's pretty cool little arcade looking joystick. The joystick itself feels very sturdy, and there's an added bonus with this one. I'll talk more about this later on the demonstration, because it comes with pole position and Galaga in a game called Xevious. Not familiar with that. And a game called Mappy. I've played this a couple times. I'd never heard of it, but I played it on one of these that I had previously, and it's a very strange game, but we'll run through that later. And again, this connects to your TV via those audio-video cables. Down here, pretty simple controls. We've got a menu. I believe that's to select between the games, and then on-off. Turn it on. Plug-and-play TV games, just as I suspected. Ms. Pac Man collection. Okay, here we go. So, by default, you're going to play Ms. Pac Man. Just a big red start button. I wonder what the smaller one is. It's not tied into the fire button, so it's independent. It means something. So this, again, is a very faithful reproduction of the original Ms. Pac Man game. And I dumped so many quarters into this game when I was a kid as well. Now, the really big thing about Ms. Pac Man when it came out was there's no set pattern to how these ghosts move. They're programmed independently and randomly as you go along. So unlike Pac-Man, where you could buy a book or a map of all the levels, and you'd have a predefined route where you could go and hit every power pellet and every pellet and eat every ghost every time, this one was completely unplannable. So there are no real cheats to Ms. Pac Man, which makes it infinitely more difficult to master and get high score on. So this one, every time you play it, you're just winging it. You're playing a new game. Now there were a lot of different types of setups on the arcade game for both Pac-Man and Ms. Pac Man. Some were known as slow games or slow chips and fast chips. That refers to the speed of the Pac-Man character when it's moving. We'll call this medium speed right here. I've seen machines that were very, very slow, where the ghosts were faster than you right out of the gate. Then I've seen games where Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man was easily twice as fast as the ghosts on any given part of the board. You could just race around the board and clear the entire thing of pellets in 20 or 30 seconds. And you could rack up your high score a whole lot better because the ghosts were slower than you and you were faster, and you could just run them. Run the table like pool. Here we go. Gotta get at least one ghost, and I didn't. So this appears to be somewhere in the middle. I've seen a lot faster and slower versions in the arcade, mind you. I'm not sure that these were ever released in different speed configurations. This is probably a one-size-fits-all solution. The code is the same on every single one of them. But I don't know that for sure. I would just venture a guess that they didn't write a whole bunch of extra code for different versions of this. I did not want to do that. So, just like on the real Miss Pac-Man, I am not overly excellent at playing this, despite the hundreds of, maybe even thousands of dollars I poured into it as a child, 1/4 at a time. Come on. I'll get one. So again, this is a very excellent replica of the arcade game.